proposals that I think are different than the proposals that the right could do. It does not mean, I am not sure that my proposals are politically efficient. Maybe if the left accept my proposals, they will have a very, very bad score at the next elections. That's another problem. But my idea is that it is better, maybe I am naive, it is better when politicians have good ideas than when they don't have good ideas. It is better when they know how to transform values that are more or less abstract into action, taking into account what is at stake in the real life. But I am not able to give strategical or tactical advice to a political party. It's not possible. I could not. I would be very bad. A politician, I don't know if you meet sometimes a politician knows what to say to the people. He or she, it's not necessary for him or for she to have read a lot of books in sociology. Not at all. They know what to say. And a politician is able to capture a situation, to capture something. So, at that level, I cannot be helpful. But if I have been writing this book, it's because in my country we are going to have very important elections within 1 year and a half. So my book is 1 year and a half before. And I hope that my proposals will be discussed, and then maybe will be helpful. But I know that for political reasons, maybe I am totally wrong. Because I will give you an Italian example. For me, it's a mystery. Why is Berlusconi re-elected? The first time, okay, people did not know, okay, maybe. But now everybody knows he's having prostitutes that are under 18, he's hating justice, and so on. People vote for him. What can I say to the left, to the Italian left? If in a situation like this one, people vote, people that are educated, people, it's... So, I don't have necessary answers, but I prefer to try rather than not to try. That's it.
So, where were those other questions? You? Yes.
Hi. I was very interested by what you said about religion and subjectivity, because in the French debate there is this big concept about laïcité, secularism, and the basics of it is that religion is just determining what the human being is. It's one determinism that we have to fight because it's against the emancipation of the human being. So if you say that religion is just a question of personal choice, we just don't need laïcité anymore. We don't have to defend the so-called Republican model with laïcité anymore. It's just a question of personal choice and pursuit of happiness through religion. I had also a second remark. You said, it was very interesting what you said about Wieviorka and the way of the end of the nation state and how the left has to coordinate its view, its local view with global perspective. But don't you think that there is, regarding this specific issue, a huge gap within the global left, the International Socialist, for example? When I go to Cameroon or when I go to Congo and talk with socialist militants, they are still stuck up with this very colonial perspective of the nation state, and they are right because it does mean something to build a state within an African context. So don't you think that if the left in France, in Europe, is trying to have a global perspective and just drop the nation state, there will be just an enormous gap between the international socialist movement?
Your 2 points are very important, but I will be more extreme than you. Even in France, the question of the nation is important. The idea of Ulrich Beck is not to say the nation state does not exist anymore. He would never say that, I think. I cannot speak in his name. But I think that what he would say is, we shall not make good social analysis or good sociology if we only work within the framework of the nation state. We should not give to the nation state a kind of monopoly to be the framework for our work. This is the point. And I fully agree with you today, and this would be a very important point. Today, a politician that would say the nation state does not exist, I don't take it seriously, and he's dead or she's dead. I mean, this is sure, and not only in Cameroon or but in Italy or in France and so on. So on your second point, you are totally right, and maybe this is a great issue today in many countries, the nation. Yes?
Don't you think that the conception of the state and the role of the nation state are different and create a big gap of perceptions between the South and the North?
Listen, I would like, generally speaking, to avoid a kind of what people sometimes call culturalism. That is to say, the idea is that because they are in Africa or in Asia or in Latin America, they cannot behave like we behave in Europe. Of course, there are differences, historical differences, and so. But look what happened in Egypt and in Tunisia. 6 months ago, many people used to say, "Oh, Arabs will never be able to." Well, they behave exactly. This is what, like the Polish people with Solidarity 30 years ago, and they are modern. They are like you and me. I mean. And they are educated, and they use internet. Maybe they use internet better than I, and so because I am people. So I will never say, "Oh, these people are out of the game." No, of course it's a different history, but the nation is the importance of the nation for me is not the same, and is as real for this country. Now, your first point was about laicity. In France, well, first of all, it's very interesting because you cannot translate the French word laïcité by the English word secularization. I know that many people do that. It's not exactly the same. And in France, laïcité, which was a rather old notion, but was used in order to say in 1905, when a law was passed, we must separate the state and the churches. So this was what was because at that moment Catholicism was very strong, and the Catholic people wanted to exert a kind of political power. But today the situation is totally different. Today the problem is no longer separation of church or churches and the state. Today the problem is the contrary. How can we give some room to Islam? If I can use this word after what I said, how can we integrate in Islam? The problem is not to say to Islam, you must not be part of the state. What do we do with Islam? Do we say that Muslims must be given some room special room in cemeteries, carré musulman? Should we say that at school children should be given halal food if the family wants for religious reasons, and so on? So the problem is the contrary. The laïcité, the French laïcité today, has to do the contrary of what it did 1 century ago. Not separate, but include a religion. So this is a new challenge, and this is why it's so interesting. And is it the same laïcité? Some people say no. We should call the debate today post-laïcité. As I said, you don't know how to call something. So it's a very interesting issue. Let me add also something. When there was this big fight between the Catholics, churches and so on, and the state, at that moment you had two possibilities on the laïc side. Some people, but there were a minority. Some people say we must finish with religion. We must fight against religion, like Voltaire, if you want. And other people say, no, the problem is we must give a limited space to religion. And these were the people the more influential at that time, contrary to some illusion. But today, most people, not everybody, but most people say something new. They say modernity includes religion today. Religion is part of modernity. We like it, we don't like it. But we cannot do as if it does not exist. And very modern countries are obliged to consider that religion exists. So the problem is to consider modernity not as the contrary of religion, but as something that maybe has to leave some place. But which place? Here starts the debate.
Okay, last question, since we haven't done anything. Oh, was that it? No, just one last question. Okay, it was you, okay.
Yeah, I was wondering how your ideas on personalized public administration were received by the French the French Socialist Party, like Martine Aubry or people like that. Has there been any reaction, serious reaction or reception to them, or are they not taken seriously, or?
The kind of ideas that
on personalized public administration, which you mentioned a while ago, personalized public service.
Well, it will be in the program. It will be in the program of the socialists.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know exactly how, but I've seen. But this is very interesting. And I know personally Martine Aubry. I am a personal friend of her. And the title of my book, she gave it to me. I wanted to call it The Third Left. And she told me, Michel, don't do that. It's a very bad title because the third left, people will understand a mixture of the second left of the 70s and the third way of Tony Blair. Don't do that. Call it La Prochaine Gauche, she said. And so I talk a lot with her, but now she's very busy, but we are very good friends, and she likes to read. The problem, even with somebody that you know personally, the problem is that what they need is not so much long analysis. They need strong formulas. For instance, slogans. This is what they need. So, and what they need is something which I hate. Sometimes I receive a telephone call from the people from the Socialist Party. Michel, Martine is going to Africa. Would you write 2 pages to help her to prepare her discourse? I know what it will be. Some people all around her will take the 2 pages. 2 pages by me, but 2 pages by 10 other people. They will, in the 2 pages, they will extract what they call éléments de discours. I don't know how to translate it. Elements of discourse. So they will take 1 sentence or a word. So, for a social scientist, 2 pages, it's the beginning of an introduction. You know. So, okay, I can try to say something in 2 pages, but I know what will be done with these 2. So this is the way politicians work, because she has to give a discourse in their cars. So it's very difficult, and not so many things. So, but if I take this precise case, I can tell you what happened in 2001. At that moment, she was at the government, and she decided to leave the government 1 year before the election. And we were at that time, we were closer than we are now, because she's doing too many things. So at that time, she told me, Michel, I'm leaving the government. I've been in politics. Politics makes you dry, intellectually dry. So I need some oxygen. Would you organize for me a group of intellectuals to discuss? And I did it. And during many months, every 2 weeks, we met a small group of 10 people with her, and it was very. And one day she told us, well, I am now in charge of the project of the Socialist Party. And she said, would you accept that the ideas that come from this group, I use them to prepare the project? We said, yes, of course. He said, and she said, but I know what will happen. These ideas will be broyés dans la moulinette.
Ground up.
But it's better than nothing. So this is how things. So the problem is, how can we create more and more places where there is discussion, debate, so that more than element discours can be.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.